Hi, I'm Allison,
Hello, I'm Jafeth.
and welcome to the 16th episode of Existing. You can find our podcast on Spotify, YouTube, or iTunes, and we post every Mondays and every other Wednesdays at 11 p.m.
Yes, and if you would like to follow us on Instagram, you could do so at Existing Podcast.
Okay, today's topic is going to be about parasocial relationships, and some of you might not know that term, but when we describe it, you'll know. Right. Yeah, I feel like, no?
Yes, I think
Yeah.
everyone has had like that kind of relationship with something or
Something.
someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're probably asking, what is a parasocial relationship? Or maybe you're not, but we're going to tell you anyways. So, a parasocial relationship is like when someone has a one sided relationship with, I guess, a public figure or a figure in media where, you feel like you have a personal relationship with them, but the public figure doesn't know who you are. So, like a celebrity with a fan, like that.
Yeah.
Did I get it? Yeah? You want to add
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah. No.
No? Okay.
I guess I'll add like the reason why we thought of doing this is because Allison
Oh,
firstly
yeah.
she like texted me I don't know how many days ago, like a couple days ago, and she just texted me and was like, oh, something about like she talked about it in like with K-pop idols
Oh, yeah.
and how it like how they're marketed towards people so that you kind of are put in a position where you have a parasocial relationship, or that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
what they want, so you keep
Yeah.
buying
Buying their
items
albums.
with that person's image in them.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I mean, yeah, I think everybody knows that happens, just nobody knows the terminology.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So
I
it's
didn't
just
know the
like,
exact word for it until recently. I just know, like, oh, that one way relationship exists, but I didn't know there was an actual, like,
oh, like a term.
term. Yeah. Even I didn't
Oh,
even know. Yeah.
yeah, no, I found out about it because I think I watched a video like a year or two ago
Mm-hmm.
about like parasocial relationships between like people and content creators, which we'll get into like
Oh,
in a
yes.
bit. But
Yes, yes.
yeah, also we touched upon like this kind of idea in our last podcast episode where we talked
Mm-hmm.
about like it's kind of not really, now that I think about it, it's actually not super like it's not the same
It,
idea.
yeah.
But it's kind of like using the image of a person to, or
It's like
feeling
selling.
weirdly intimate with a person, that you can create something with their image in the way that
Yeah.
you want to see that person. I don't know if that
Yeah,
makes
like,
sense.
okay, I
That
think I
was
know
just
what
like
you're
word
getting at.
vomit.
Like, it's when someone creates this more personal or like intimate connection with a persona of a public figure when like in reality they might not actually be that way, or because
Yeah.
you don't know them in real life. And this is
Yeah.
not this can be found with pretty much any public figure, even content creators. I would consider them public figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I just
So,
think, yeah, this is like interesting because, like, with the internet and like social media, you can have like 24 hours of content consumption. So
mhm.
I feel like this phenomenon definitely has increased or has become more common more recently.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Social media. I mean, I don't want to be one of those people that's like social media bad,
No, social
but
media is
there's a
like
lot of
neutral.
there's a lot of obvious consequences that come from like social media and social media
Yeah.
consumption and it being so readily available to the person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's just really interesting to see. And the thing is, I don't know if this was done like obviously not to the level that it is now, but I don't know if this kind of relationship existed between like right here in our notes we kind of like tiered like who we're going to talk about first, and the first ones are like politics, like how this exists in politics, and as
Mm-hmm.
we mentioned, kind of like making memes of the
Of
politicians, or
politicians.
like if you're on Twitter, like those, they're not fan cams, they're like edits
Yeah.
that are basically like glorifying that person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just interesting because that's weird. Like
It's
that's
weird because
because
that
your
was definitely
politicians are
not.
not celebrities.
Yeah, I mean, they're public figures, but they're not celebrities. And I think there's a very fine line between that, but there's a
Yeah.
difference.
I mean, I think it's because this is a really recent phenomenon too, like the
Mm-hmm.
making those, and I can't help now that I'm saying it, I can't help but thinking like with the readily availableness, the availability, the availability of social media so quick to everyone, that with that, and also like Donald Trump coming
Yeah.
into presidency, him being like a celebrity before being a
Mm-hmm.
politician, a political figure, kind of had something to do because I think it opened. Because I know there were actors and entertainers before that became celebrities after, like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He was an
Um,
actor before he was
yeah,
governor,
he was
though,
governor.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then no, that's what I'm saying. Like you were an entertainer
Oh,
or an actor or something
oh, and then you
before. Like
moved
he wasn't
into.
like Donald Trump wasn't the first one.
Ah,
And
got it, got it,
then
got it. Yeah.
who else? I don't
There was another actor. Like one of the
there
presidents
was
was an
yeah, one of the
actor,
presidents was an actor.
but I don't remember. One of the older guys. We're
Yeah,
trying so
he
hard.
yeah. Yeah,
Jafet's
like
thinking face is
the
on. I can
cogs
see
are they're grinding
turning.
inside of our brains. But yeah, so it's not like he's the first one, but I think with um social media being so now like at your fingertips, everyone's like, let me try, you know?
Yeah,
And not
for
that
sure.
anyone's making like those edits of Donald Trump, but it's just like now people are like, oh, celebrities can be politicians, and then also
Mm-hmm.
celebrities are now really expected to voice their opinion on political topics. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that also doesn't help, or it helps to blur the lines between like celebrity and politician and like their
Yeah.
responsibilities.
Because we're talking about parasocial relationships, but I feel like when, like right now, when we're talking about politicians, it's more about their persona. And because of social media, more people have control over their persona. So you can make them look more friendly and appealing than maybe they would have been without, the edits and the memes. Because I don't
Yeah.
think there's, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the 2016 presidential election, there were a lot of politics memes, like a lot. Like that
Yeah.
was really common, and I feel like for young people, that's how a lot of people consumed a good chunk of
Yeah.
like their political news, or like that's how they received a lot of political knowledge. So yeah, I don't know where I
Yeah.
was going with
I
that,
mean, there
but
were also like political comics and stuff like in the
yeah,
newspapers back then.
yeah,
But it's
this
just
is like
weird because it's like it's weird because this is the first like social media like right now is like the first time anything like this is happening,
mm-hmm,
where social media is playing such a huge role. Like it feels weird
yeah,
because you're always so used to like thinking about the past and everyone being like, oh, like everyone already tried everything or everything's already been like, I don't know if that makes sense, but to me it's like everything's already been tested. Like we're just working in the society that we live in based on things that have happened, but the social media thing like hasn't happened and this is the first time. So it's
mm.
just like trying to understand it.
Like
It's
there's no
very
past
interesting.
data on
Yeah, there's
social
nothing you can
media,
compare it
basically.
to.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
there's no
like
point of
this is
comparison.
completely new.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's funny. Actually, it's not funny. How like memes, or at least, yeah, I guess the memification of these politicians, I feel like now this could shift a lot of people's votes, or at least the way they will vote.
Mm-hmm.
I feel actually, that's not unique to right now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's funny. They don't really care about the policy preferences. They're just here for, the fly on the head kind of moments, or
Oh my god.
like
Yeah.
that. And that
Yeah.
detracts so much from what should actually be discussed.
Yeah.
And that's disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Dang.
so moral of the story, don't turn your favorite politicians into like celebrities. Like don't idolize, not you can look up to them if you want to, as like a
I don't
role
think you should look
model.
up to them.
Okay, I mean, like, I was gonna say like a role model. Like, I want to achieve something like they did, but not in the way
Hmm.
like, oh, they are this higher being that should be praised.
Yeah.
Like everything they do is cool, because then they
Yeah.
might be held less accountable when they do something wrong because it doesn't fit with your image of them.
Yeah, I think, yeah. No, I think that's also why I say I don't think they should be looked up to, because then that eventually over time I feel it puts them on some sort of pedestal for certain people,
Mm-hmm.
and then it makes that person not want to criticize, or it
Yeah.
makes the person that's being idolized, the politician in this case, feel like they can do no wrong, or that what they're doing is like all right. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
well, no, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And politicians, like, I think it's also like politicians are like, I know everyone's like politicians work for you, but they literally work for you. Like taxpayers pay their paychecks. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's something crazy, because it's not like, oh, public servants as in like someone hires them, and then like they just get paid money that you don't, like, that's not from your pocket, but that money is quite literally from your pocket. Every I don't know, it's just like crazy, because I think when people hear they work for you, they just think like, oh, they work for me, but they
Because like,
literally,
oh,
like,
I voted
you
them
are
in.
paying. Yeah, you're lining their pockets with dollars, like
Yeah.
your dollars.
Mm-hmm. What was I gonna
But
say? Oh, I feel like I always say I feel like I need to stop doing that. This conversation reminded me about Obama, because a lot of people, at least for millennials or people our age, it's pretty common for people to see Obama in like this positive light, as if
mm-hmm.
he's some sort of more
Yeah,
family caring person. And yeah, he might be like that. I don't know. But then if you look at his history of bombing the Middle East, that doesn't really fit with this image people have created for him of being this charismatic, fun, big-hearted guy.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like that
mm-hmm,
cognitive
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
dissonance. And I feel
Yeah,
that people are going to ignore the less satisfactory parts of a politician's career so that it
yeah.
fits with that positive image they have of them.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, I feel like recently, like, there's been a lot, or I don't know, I mean, I see this on social media, and so it's obviously like more geared towards what I want to see on social media, or the people I follow, like, influence obviously what I see on social media. But I feel like there's been a lot of also calling out of Obama, and like people being like, oh, Obama wasn't that great, like, look at all he did. And it's really funny to me because I've seen in many arguments, and like one time when I was arguing with someone, I said something about like it, basically it was like saying something about like one president and how I think that what that president did was wrong. And then they're like, but what about this president? And it was like someone in the opposing party, and it's like, yeah, well, what about it? Like, what they both did was wrong. But it's just funny because in this case, I'm like talking about the comparisons between
Yeah.
Donald Trump and Obama. And it's just so awkward because I was
Mm-hmm.
16 when Trump got nominated, or 16. I was 16 or 17 when Trump got like
16, 17.
nominated. And I'm like, how I was totally unaware
Mm-hmm.
between the ages of 8 and 16 about like complete politics. So it's like, I don't know what your point is. Like, I
Obama.
wasn't reading freaking the New York Times when I was in middle school. Like, I'm sorry, but it's just funny because it's like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we can criticize, and I believe in like criticism without needing to offer a solution as well. Like, a lot of times when I criticize, people are like, well, what do you think should happen? And it's like, well, anything I say you can poke holes in. So it's like, I feel like for now, like,
Mm-hmm.
criticizing is good enough, because
Yeah. And that might sound lazy, like, oh, you don't want to come up with a solution, you're just gonna sit and complain. Um but we don't really have having the knowledge to criticize something is not the same knowledge to create the solution, because
Yeah. And it's
solutions
like
are
you
harder
obviously
to
know
come up
if
with,
something's wrong because
frankly.
you're seeing it or you're feeling it. And the solution is oftentimes something that you haven't seen or
Yeah.
felt before. So that's like an abstract solution that you're trying
Yeah,
to
good point.
get out of someone that's like, yeah,
Come
it's
up
just
with.
hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, criticisms are still valid even if you
Yeah.
can't offer a solution immediately.
Yeah.
It's still important to criticize it,
Yeah,
is
basically.
what I think we're getting at.
But yeah, that was the political segment of our of the podcast.
That was
Because
the
mostly
political
because when
time.
Allison proposed this, like
And
our immediate ideas went to, well, because when she brought it, she was talking about K-pop, and then I was like, oh, that happens to like YouTubers and Twitch
like
streamers,
K-pop,
which is
yeah.
like, yeah, so that's like
and
what
Twitch
we
streamers. Mm-hmm.
mostly focus or had more ideas on what to talk about for the episode. So we're gonna move on to that. So YouTubers.
Yeah. Very
I've been
smooth
practicing.
transition.
16 episodes in. Yeah. So
But yeah, YouTubers.
YouTube in 2005 was
Thought?
debuted.
Have
I'm pretty sure 2005 or 6.
Oh, really? 2005?
Yeah.
Dang. Anyways, have you ever been
Never.
like a
I'm just
fan
kidding.
of a YouTuber?
I remember the first YouTuber or YouTubers that I really liked, or and it's so funny because I look back at their content now, or one of them, I look back at their content now and I'm like, dang, 2000 whatever was really a different time. But the two YouTubers that I was like obsessed with when I was younger were Ray William Johnson, or Equals 3.
I know this name, but I never watched his content. But he's the guy with the sunglasses,
I don't know.
right?
Did he wear sunglasses? He just always,
Oh.
I don't know about the sunglasses,
He's like
but he
spiky
did
hair
have
and sunglasses. That sounds like Guy
he did
Fieri.
have spiky hairish. But yeah, for me it was Ray William Johnson and Community Channel, or Natalie Tran.
Oh, I know that name's. I haven't watched either.
Yeah,
one of these, but that sounds
she's so
really
funny. Her
familiar.
content is actually timeless. Like I've gone back and I still like laugh at it because it's so funny. But yeah, those two were YouTubers that I was like, oh, they're cool. But I was like really young, so to say, I don't know if I could have classified what I had with them as like parasocial relationships. Also because my time when I was younger, my time was more limited online. Like my parents were very strict about like how much time I could spend online.
True.
So I don't think I ever felt like I know this person, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I would say I felt like I was in a parasocial relationship prior to getting into K-pop. That's why I talked about K-pop first when I like brought up this topic, because I was like, dang, this really is a parasocial relationship. And I was like, what? But YouTubers. High school, middle school, I was really into YouTube. Tried to make YouTube videos at one point. Never again. I did really like that group of British YouTubers. We've talked about this before, Jafeth and I. I was into them. Even though now I think like half of them are not even friends.
No, really?
Like, the main couple, they divorced. Yikes. You know,
they
Tanya
divorced?
Burr and Jim Chapman?
Rip.
They divorced. And I think
Well,
he has a
they're British,
new
so-
girlfriend or something. Sad. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, I was a fan of like the ladies, not really like the guys. I liked watching the girls' videos, but even then, even when I was like, oh, I'm a fan of theirs, I never felt like, oh, I don't know, not to the level where I would say like, oh, parasocial relationship. You know, like I feel like I didn't have that much insight on like who they were as people, just more like, oh, watching this video makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would expect personally, based off of what YouTube is, it's, you know, people making their own content. I would expect YouTube content is easier to form a parasocial relationship off of than like
Yeah,
a musician or
yeah,
someone.
definitely. Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah.
think because you said you didn't think you had or participated in, I guess, a parasocial relationship until you got into K-pop. I'm trying to think like what the first one
Mm-hmm.
or when I did, but I don't think I've ever really had or been in a parasocial relationship with a YouTuber either. But I think that the being able to find discover a YouTuber that you've never watched before and there being like hours of content on their YouTube is also like really what kind of promotes that, because all of a sudden you're like seeing all this
Mm-hmm.
and you feel like you're getting to know them, and then you just feel more attached. Also, like the feeling, if you're feeling a certain way, if you're going through something and like seeing that YouTuber makes you happy, then you instantly, I think it's like inevitable that you form some kind of bond with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when I think about it, when you watch, from my experience, when you watch a YouTuber's vlogs or something about their personal life, you get an idea of who they are. But maybe it was just like me, because like I didn't really watch them for
Mm-hmm,
any
mm-hmm,
sort of emotional support or comfort. It was just, they're there.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hi, look at you doing the cinnamon challenge. Like that. It wasn't. Maybe it also
Yeah.
depends on what content you watch. Because, are like people who watch gamer videos more likely to form a parasocial relationship with that kind of or that kind of YouTuber versus someone who
Mm-hmm.
makes, I don't know, like beauty videos? Like, is there
Yeah. Yeah.
a difference? I
Yeah.
don't know. Because in terms of Twitch streaming, I feel like, I mean, I don't really watch Twitch streams, but the people who do
Yeah.
just chatting,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what it's called, right? Just chatting? Yeah, I feel like people are more likely to form an emotional bond with
YouTube.
those
Oh.
type of streamers
Oh,
versus
like gaming
gamers.
streamers or gaming YouTubers.
Like yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like gaming
Mm.
streamers versus just
Yeah, I don't
chatting
know. I think
streamers.
yeah,
Just
I
like
think
inherently
Twitch
based off of the content.
streaming actually like is was I think it made the parasocial, well, is the official definition of like parasocial relationships that the other person doesn't know you exist, or is it just that it's like one-sided?
From I mean, I feel like even if you met that celebrity in person once, I wouldn't consider it to be a real social
Mm.
relationship, because it's still pretty one-sided. You know a lot more about
Yeah.
that person
Yeah,
than
yeah.
they know about you. Like, it's imbalanced. I don't know if it's
Mm.
completely like they don't know who you
Yeah,
are,
because with
but
Twitch
there's a
streaming, I was
heavy
gonna say
imbalance.
it can like heavily or because with Twitch streaming, I think it kind of takes that to the next level, but there's a possibility, more of a possibility for interactions between the viewer and the content creator. Because in Twitch, you're obviously live streaming and there's a chat, and if the streamer decides to read the chat,
Mm-hmm.
then you obviously have the streamer interacting with whoever's viewing, whoever's watching that person. So I think that makes it um, more likely and makes that relationship imbalance more intense, because now not only do you know about this
Mm.
person, but now you have this person interacting with you very minimally, but that like probably makes you super happy, so then you feel like you're way
Oh,
closer to
yeah.
that person than you actually are, and now you feel like
Yeah.
yeah,
Ooh, like the minimal interaction is
yeah,
more dangerous than
yeah,
no
to
reaction. I
some,
mean,
I
no
mean, I
interaction.
don't know, it's probably like there's been a lot of
Ex-
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know if that's true, but like I feel like there's more potential for that to happen.
I could see that
Um,
though. Yeah. Also, I just want to say that I know neurodivergent people can form fixations, and we're not talking about that, because I know fixations, like, you don't have control over what you get fixated on and like form a relationship with, so we're not really talking about that, because we can't really speak on that. So we're not trying to shame neurodivergent people for their fixations.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Also, I don't think we're trying to shame people in parasocial relationships either, because like I think it's natural.
Oh, no, we're not. We're
it's
just
kind
saying,
of inevitable.
Yeah.
In this stage of technology.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not shaming people. Like, we've experienced this ourselves. We're just saying it's not the healthiest thing to experience. Like, and it's also very interesting how it's happening on a very wide scale across a lot of different forms of content. Yeah. That's what we're trying to say. We're not trying to shame anyone. We're just like analyzing it. We're like, oh, hey, you have ourselves. But we do this too.
I don't know. I think with Twitch streaming, okay, because Allison says she doesn't watch Twitch streamers, but I
Jafeth might become a streamer. I say might, he will.
No, but
he's in the process.
Like, I started watching Twitch streamers, I don't know, like a year and a half ago or something, and it was never something that I was like, oh, let me watch.
Really?
Like, let me go and like, I need to watch this person. It was just kind of like, I'm bored, let me just browse. And then one day I think I found this streamer, and I was like, it was the day where I was like really bored, and I was just like looking for something to watch or looking for someone to watch, because after that feeling of having exhausted all that YouTube has to offer and all that Netflix has to offer, I was like, okay, let's just go to Twitch. So I went to Twitch, and I found this streamer, and I followed him on Twitter because he was funny, but I didn't know he had a Twitch, and then I saw like that he was someone I followed on Twitter, so then I watched him, and I was like, oh, he's really funny. And then he didn't have that many viewers at the time when I started watching, because he had just started streaming a couple months ago. But then we started like talking, and I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, we're like, yeah.
Oh, you've interacted with him?
Like, it was me, and then also like people in the chat that would like regularly watch him or semi-regularly watch him. So then like going to the stream was also not just going to like talk with the streamer, but also like the people in the chat. But
interesting.
Yeah, so I started being like, oh, like I should tune in more, because like, this person is very interesting, and also there's like not just the streamer, but like other people. So I think that the fact that there are other people in the chat, or like other people watching the stream, and you can interact with those other people, also is kind of like an anchor to keep you from engaging in an extremely parasocial relationship, because you're not just fixating on that one person. But at the same time, I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes sense, because
yeah,
there's other people with you. But it's like, also, are you all fixating together? But you're talking to each
that's
other,
the only time where I was like, oh, this is like weird, because I started finding myself like wanting to really watch the streams, and like I looked at the stream schedule, and I wasn't like, oh, when is he streaming next? But I was just like, kept in mind like, oh, instead of going to like YouTube or not YouTube, I always go to YouTube first, but instead of going to like Netflix first, I would see if the streamer was streaming, and then if he was, then I would just stay and watch. So it was just kind of this like thing where I was like growing more and more like into it. But the also like, and we'll talk about but like something that also I can gauge my obsessiveness over, my level of obsession over, is like whether or not I'm willing to buy their like merch, or like see if I'm into buying what they have, like the products that they offer. And I never found and the streamer that I watched, he started making like these like merch, like keychains and stickers and stuff.
Merch.
But I never found myself wanting to buy it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I mean, I have the money if I wanted to buy it, but like I could also buy like Chipotle or something.
But you didn't want to.
So yeah. Also, it just feels weird having like streamer merch. Because it's like, I proudly
Yeah, because they're not
Yeah.
like full
Yeah.
celebrities,
In the
but
least insulting way that can come across.
yeah, it's just
Because then if
they're
someone
not on
asks you
mainstream
like
media.
what
They're
that
not
is,
the
then you'll just
typical
like
celebrity
it'll be
person.
awkward because then you'll just be explaining it to them and they'll probably be like, oh, okay. But yeah, that
Be like, what?
and that
Yeah,
also goes
that makes
obviously with
sense. That
like
makes sense.
K-pop. Like thanks.
Oof, that was a good
um
transition.
but
That was a
yeah.
good one. Oh
Oh, go
wow.
because I actually
But
talked a
yeah.
lot, so.
Oh. Now we're getting
Yes.
into why I wanted to do this episode. K-pop and parasocial relationship is like bread and butter. Like the way K-pop companies make money is by
Mhm.
encouraging parasocial relationships. That's it. Even Jafeth said, you know how obsessed you are with a public
Mhm.
figure when you want to buy their merch. And I was watching, please forgive me. I
Oh
was
my
watching
god.
some JYP keynote speech thing he did because I was like, wait, he speaks English? So I kept watching it. But he was saying how you can track how big a fandom actually is based on an artist's album sales because only the most
Mhm.
dedicated fans will buy albums. Because now like people don't even use
Yeah.
albums. People don't even have CD players. So, and then when you think about that, it's like, oh wow, they do. I'm not saying all idols when they do stuff like live streams or out activities outside of music making. I'm not saying they're doing it just for profit because I know a lot of them like
Mhm.
genuinely enjoy interacting with fans, but from the company's perspective, they would want their idols to do that so people can become more attached to them and then buy
Yeah.
albums
Yeah.
and other merch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not yeah, this I'm talking like I'm criticizing the
Yeah,
companies, not
I think
the idols
and
because I don't.
also like being in this is like even though we made an episode, it's still kind of like embarrassing to say, but being on K-pop Twitter, um you yeah, being
I'm
on K-pop
embarrassed
Twitter
to
for like
say
some
that.
time now, there's a lot of arguments that go on between like all the fans, and then criticisms of like, well, you obviously like people used a group's name rather than the company's name, but like when they say it, they actually mean the company itself or like the people like managing the group, not actually like
Usually.
the group itself, like the people in the group.
Hmm.
Um, I forgot what I was gonna say.
That's
Wait,
okay.
what were we talking
Do you
about?
want to wait to see if you remember? You said
What were you
when
talking about?
I don't remember. It's the company. It's I was talking about I was criticizing companies for being very profit minded, like they want to drive up profit, so therefore they're going to encourage parasocial relationships. They're going to
Uh-huh.
encourage emotional attachment to their
Okay, I don't know where
idols.
I was going with that then.
Yeah.
You can just cut that out.
Okay, that's
But
fine.
I'll think about something to say.
Okay. Um okay. Yeah, and I must admit, I didn't the way okay the reason why I said, oh, I don't think I was in a parasocial relationship with YouTubers, but I know I kind of am with K-pop idols, is because I don't know, I think I saw someone talk about it on Twitter, but they were like, if your favorite idol did something really bad, how
Mm-hmm.
hurt would you be by that? And that kind of gauges how
Mm,
attached you are with them. And I was thinking about that. I was like, if BTS or Luna did something like bad, morally bad,
yeah.
I'd be really sad about that. And that's not good because I feel like those celebrities shouldn't have that much control
Yeah.
over my
Yeah. And
emotions.
it's so weird
But they
because
do.
like I'm trying to think and I don't really know what it is about cuz obviously it's sad to say and admit, but it's more explicit. Like it still happens like in like America and US entertainment and everything, but in like Korea with
Yeah.
K-pop, you're being sold the idol's image and that's like the product. So if you see that
Yeah.
like product is, and I think that's the issue, that they're viewed more as like things for you to have, or like, yeah, rather than like
Consume.
artists. Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay. So Allison just like flashed her Allison just flashed her phone case.
We're gonna. I'm showing him my phone case, and there's a photo card of Jin
Yeah,
from
and it's
BTS,
no,
and
and it's so
like,
interesting
why?
because
Why do
I
I
remember
have
when I
this in my
still wasn't really into
phone?
K-pop, or I was like just getting into it. I remember being like, actually before I was into K-pop, I was like, that's so weird. Like, why would you have photos of someone, like a celebrity, in your phone? Like that you that
Of
like doesn't
someone
know you.
else
Like,
that you
why would
don't
you, like,
know.
that's just weird, you know? And like it still is weird. I'm not saying it's not weird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a phone. Yeah,
It's a little
I mean, I no
weird, but look how
longer have a photo
cute.
card in my phone case, but I used to. And I still think it's really freaking weird because it's like, for what? Like, that brings you no,
I know
that
it's
doesn't bring you
weird
anything
because if
besides
someone,
like, oh, they're in my phone case. Nice.
yeah, I was thinking about that because before I wouldn't want to put photo cards in my phone case because if someone asked who is that, I would be
Mm-hmm,
kind of
mm-hmm.
embarrassed, like, oh, it's a singer, blah blah blah. But now I'm like, I like looking at their face when
Yeah,
I flip my phone over.
yeah,
But that's weird. Why is seeing someone's photo that dopamine inducing? And it's not like it. I'm not dating this person. This is not my family. This is not my friend. This is a
yeah. So
celebrity.
it's just like
Oh, it's
explaining it out
weird.
loud is very, very, like, you start to understand like, this is kind of weird, and like, but it's so funny
Oh, this
because
is
you
kind of odd.
just kind of get into it, or like it just kind of happens. Because I remember being like, I don't think I would ever buy like a K-pop album because I don't use a CD. Like, I don't use CDs at all. I don't have a CD player. I
Same.
don't have anything that
Same.
can, you can pop a CD in. Plus, why would I use that even if in my car when you have aux,
Yeah.
or like Bluetooth capabilities. But I still have
Yeah.
like 4 K-pop
Mm-hmm.
albums. And like,
Don't even ask me how many I have. Don't. Oh
yeah,
my.
so
I
it's
don't
just,
even know. I don't even know how many. Cause like now, if BTS or Luna or like my favorite K-pop artist, if they have a new release, I won't think twice about buying their album. It's just like, oh, well, you gotta
mm-hmm,
do it. You gotta support
mm-hmm.
them. That's what you do as a fan. And it's like, what? They're just taking my money for something I don't really use. Like I'm
Yeah.
like buying it for the
And
photo
I
card.
think it's like that too, like making some kind of like, having some kind of like perceived exclusivity of like products. So like the photo cards, like there are always those photo cards that people are like, "Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
want that photo card." And then all of a sudden like everyone wants that photo card. So then the other ones are kind of like not really
Mm-hmm.
as valuable, I guess. So then it just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
kind of like relating
It's
it
weird.
to the wanting profits. I'm trying to not to use the c word, but the company wanting profits, like, it's sucky because I don't like, usually the idols are really young when they get into like their group, when they debut or when they start training. So I don't think
Training and
the first
stuff.
thing in their
Yeah.
head is like, I'm gonna do all these things so I can make profit. I feel like a lot of them go into it because they genuinely have like a love for like music or dancing or like, that kind of thing. And then the company like exploits
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
desire to pursue art, and then exploits like people's, like, non-idols, like the fans desire to not want as in like they want to own it, but like want that image, or have the happiness that comes with having that
Mm-hmm.
image, you know what I mean?
Like they capitalize off
Yeah,
their love for the idol, even though that's not
yeah,
maybe the
yeah.
idol's
Yeah,
desire.
and it's like even
Like
more
that's not their
difficult because
intention.
you want to support
Yeah.
the artist. Like, this is like a big case, but you want to support the
I
artist, but
hate
you
the
really hate the
companies.
companies because the companies like do dumb stuff, or they like are
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yeah, or
I don't
like
know what I was gonna say. Go, Allison.
or or like maybe the company, they only give the idol like 10% of the album earnings or something. You know they're treating the artist unfairly, but they're your favorite artist, but giving your money to their merch means giving it to the
Yeah.
company
And
a lot of
like
the time, not
there's so
the
many things
artist.
because like
Yeah.
also at least the people I follow on Twitter, they're very like anti-capitalist, or
Mm-hmm.
they talk like they're against capitalism, and then a lot of people have the rebuttal of like,
Mm-hmm.
but you support K-pop, so it's like weird because it's like that's not really the
Yeah,
argue like a great argument
you're
because it's like,
right.
oh, you live in a capitalist society, or you hate capitalism but you live in a capitalist, it's like,
Why do you
well,
consume?
I wish I could have not been born in one type of thing, but it's not really that the
Yeah, yeah.
best argument, but I don't know, it's just like weird.
And that's where parasocial relationships come in. That's why they're snatching you, they're getting you with the emotional like happiness you
Mm-hmm.
get from seeing their videos, listening to their music or whatever. Wait, I just thought of something. So there's a song by Augusty Suga from BTS on his mixtape, and it's talks about the exploitation of idols, like people who want to make music. Like they literally say like, oh, capitalism and money as like a morphine for the fact that they're like dangling their dreams in front of you. Like the company's dangling the artist's dreams in front of them.
Oh.
Like they talked. Anyways, that reminded me of that. Like they talked about that. Anyways, Yoongi, my communist king. um. Oh, you know what's really weird that I feel like it's not just like, how a lot of K-pop companies, especially with male idols, I guess both female and male, but they want to push this image
Oh,
that
yeah, yeah,
they're your boyfriend or girlfriend.
yeah.
Like they don't want the idols to date because idols are more attractive to the
Yeah.
fan or consumer if they're single, because they feel like they're with them,
Yeah.
they're in an exclusive relationship with them.
That's like a blatant form of like encouraging the
Exactly. Yeah.
parasocial relationship. I was about to say paranormal relationship.
Paranormal. The
Parasocial
idol starts
relationship.
levitating.
No, but yeah, and then that leads into like the stalker fans.
Yeah, the like Sasang fans, because
Yeah.
they think that they're actually dating them, so they'll,
Yeah.
go to their houses or their hotel rooms, and they think they're
Yeah.
dating them. That's weird. They think that or I guess because the companies are pushing this image of, I'm your lover, I'm your partner, it gives fans the possibility of thinking like, oh, I kind of
Mm-hmm.
have a right to this person.
Mm-hmm.
Like they think they have a say in what they do or like how they should be. And that's dangerous for the artist. I mean, for the fan too, because that's like a weird obsessive mentality. But for the artist, I mean, they're still people, and like
Yeah.
the fact that they're
Yeah.
subjected to this sucks. It
Yeah.
sucks. I feel bad for them. And I feel like a lot of them, like you said, they start off really young in the K-pop training process, that they might not fully comprehend that
Mm-hmm.
this is what they're getting
Yeah.
into. Yeah, because I heard some weird stat like, oh, every idol, I don't know how big or small they are, but they're gonna have
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like a few sasaengs with them
That's good.
at almost all times. Yeah.
Yeah,
The thing is,
I
you
don't
won't
know,
even
but
see them.
then it's like really difficult and it's really annoying because it's from what I gather, because obviously like I don't really know many independent Korean artists, and not many with like a lot of success at least.
Mm-hmm.
So it's obviously really difficult
Mm-hmm.
to be an independent artist, or like not be with an entertainment company as heavily influenced by an entertainment company as like
Yeah.
K-pop idols in Korea. So it's like sometimes like the only way that you can make it into the music or entertainment industry is through signing with like a company, and then those companies like can exert a certain amount of like control over like what you do or stuff for the sake of like
Mm-hmm.
getting you sales or making you popular.
Yeah, like compared to the Western or American music industry, I would say it's definitely a lot easier for a person to enter the Korean music industry because all you have to do is there's open auditions. You don't see Sony Music or Warner Music in the States holding open auditions. You know, that's weird. But in Korea, that's just how the music industry works. And then therefore, you just constantly have people like going into the system.
Like even the discovery of artists is different. Like here you have like people getting discovered through YouTube. Like Justin Bieber, he's like one of the biggest and he was found on YouTube. But over there it's like you kind of have to get started. Yeah, you were like made by a company essentially to like or build up your talent. But also like I also want to like say that or not because I've heard that whole like K-pop artists are just like slaves and like they're like and they're all robots and
they're
stuff.
Slaves, blah blah blah. No, we're not. We're fans of K-pop. We're not. That's not how it is. That's such a dramatic.
If we're saying like, being a Western artist is so much better, or like,
shut down like, K-pop. There's exploitation in the Western music industry too. I mean, we've all seen it. You know, like I won't name specific examples, but like sexual abuse or like sexual exploitation, especially the female artists. It's there. It's there. We've seen it. It's not a. It's not a thing unique to Korea.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah. Going back to parasocial relationships, I've seen a lot of people on Twitter now talking about like, who's your comfort idol?
Yeah.
What's your comfort song or video? That's parasocial relationship material, isn't it? To say
because
someone
you're
is your
like
comfort
emotionally
person.
relying on that person for some kind of
on them to bring you comfort. Weird. Yeah.
Not weird. That's interesting.
Because some people were saying like, "Oh, your comfort idol." It's just very interesting. Like I saw someone say, or someone asked her, "What is a comfort idol?" And they replied saying it's not even necessarily your favorite idol. It's just someone where you see them, you hear them talk, you listen to their music, and it brings you comfort. And that's interesting because with YouTubers and Twitch streamers, it's most likely going to the person that brings you comfort, or the person you have a parasocial relationship with is most likely going to be your favorite content creator. But now there's this idea that an idol can bring you comfort even though they're not your favorite.
I don't know.
And I don't even know what to make of that.
Weird because I don't know.
The thing is, I was like, I could name my comfort idol, but I was like, that's not good.
I don't know, because
I shouldn't do that. Because I saw that too, I was like, yes, Namjoon.
I don't know, because I'm thinking, when you said that, I was thinking if I felt that way about any other artist prior to K-pop, and not in the same way that I do with, like, some of the Luna members, but, like, with, I would say, like, Shakira would be like a comfort celebrity, but not even like seeing her or watching an interview, because it's so weird, because I could be excited about watching a Luna interview, but watching a Shakira interview to me does not sound like I'm jumping up and down being like, oh my god, the next Shakira interview. I love Shakira's music and I'm like obsessed. Like
so
hers
it's more
is just,
like music
exclusively, and I don't
like
really...
Shakira, it's more about her music.
I mean, I was a little hurt when I found out that she was charged with tax evasion, but it was to Spain, so then that made it a little better. But I don't know. It's just like it's weirdly different. Like it's just like weird.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different because it's the way that K-pop idols are promoted, the way they promote themselves is more primed. I guess more primed for emotional attachments to form. And I think that has to do with, because that reminded me of like V Live and when they do streams on there, because they're like talking directly to the audience, to their fans. But Twitch streamers do the same. But I don't think K-pop fans are interacting with each other in the comments. Like how you said Twitch streams, people do that.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that's different. This reminded me, the first BTS concert I went to, I was like in the front at the, in the pit, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember after the concert, because whenever you see concert videos on Twitter or YouTube, it's always about the singer interacting with the person who recorded the video, right? So you kind of have this expectation like, oh, if I'm in this front area, they're going to interact with me. And then they didn't. And then me and like the friends I went with, all of us were like, why do we feel worse after this concert? Why do we feel sad? Like, it wasn't like, oh, I missed the concert. It was like, wow, they didn't notice. not that we're like, oh, they should notice me, but it was like, oh, wow. It was hitting us that, oh, wow, we are a faceless fan to them. And then we were thinking about like, oh, why are we feeling so disappointed? And then one of the friends I went with, she was saying all the content that we see from like idols, they're looking at the camera most of the time. Even in their music videos, their live streams, they're looking at us. So it feels like they're one-on-one with us, but they're not. And I feel like just that format of them always looking at the camera and, you looking at the screen could contribute to that.
Yeah. Also, it definitely has a lot to do with the fact that the way they're portrayed is like perfect. Like,
like, oh, they're physically pretty, they're talented, they're funny.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and like Western artists are less like, they don't pay attention to that. Like, they could care less about their like pure image.
Yeah.
Pure because like the way they're catered is very pure, like K-pop idols.
Because for us, when
really
we see Justin Bieber getting drunk, we're just like, he's crazy. But if you saw a video of a K-pop idol getting drunk at a club, you'd be like, oh, what?
Yeah.
It'd be more surprising. Even like how dating is considered a scandal because of that boyfriend-girlfriend image. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so weird because, obviously it all comes down to like different cultural values.
Of course.
Obviously Korea
South Korea.
Obviously Korea is more like conservative compared to the US.
But it's funny, the drinking thing, Koreans drink a lot, very casually. I would say more than Americans. But to see someone out in the street drunk would be like, what? It's like, no, you do that too. You can't say anything.
No, but then that's where like this like image of you being like pure and like not doing that, and like that's where it's tarnished, and now you're like, oh, I can't even look at them the same way again because this image that's been advertised to me for like years, let's say, like it's now like, what the heck?
That's true.
Or like,
there's the cognitive dissonance.
Yeah. But it's just interesting because now it's like, even now with like international fans, now you're kind of adjusting your lens to like mimic those cultural values. So even when that happens, like to Korea, like even if something like them getting drunk or something happens to a Korean idol, even international fans are like, what the heck? When celebrities in their own country do that and no one bats an eye,
That's true.
Like, it's still shocking to you.
I noticed that. I think because the way it's presented, like with dating news, you're like, oh my god, they're dating. But if I heard, but I don't have any favorite Western celebrities. Maybe that's maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so weird how K-pop idols are like advertised, and then how that weirdly reels everyone in, or like reels people in to have this weird bond with them.
Yeah, and then but the thing is, it's all based on like merch sales.
Yeah, no, and then I think about it, and then I'm like, dang, I feel creepy like thinking about it.
Yeah, it makes me feel like, weird. Like the phone case thing, I feel weird, but he looks so cute.
Then I think, like, what would the idol that I really like, Vivi from Luna, what would she think about that? Vivi like, from Luna. She'd probably be like, she'd probably be really nice to me to my face, but then like backstage she'd probably be
Like,
like, "Man, people are weird as fuck." Because I know
yeah,
I would
think
probably
about
think
that.
that.
Yeah, because I mean, they probably wouldn't. I don't know. It depends. Because like, oh wow, you're my fan. Thank you for supporting me. But if someone came up to me and was like, oh my god, I get to meet you, I'd be like, what the frick frack? Even if I
Yeah,
was
because then you
even if I
also
was like on camera on TV, I'd still be like, oh, this person I've never met's reacting very strongly to me, but I don't even know who they are.
yeah
It's it must
yeah
be weird.
because yeah, because this is also just like in general for celebrities. Now it's being a little less like this expectation is wearing down a little. But the expectation that like when you meet your fans, you need to be nice or you need to be good to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to like put away anything that's bothering you and just be like a good person because they're
Yeah.
your fans, you know. And that's still going on like in for K-pop idols, but like I feel like for American celebrities and stuff, it's more normal for people to or for celebrities to lash out or just tell their fans like no, you know,
Yeah,
or we
like
can't do that or we can't be
Rihanna.
friends or whatever.
I'm like thinking of Rihanna for some reason. I know she did something like that. Or like
Like
they can
I'm
say,
thinking of Bjork.
"Oh, wait. What did she do?"
Well, I heard the backstory, so it makes sense. But there was like a, someone who was following like a paparazzi or an obsessed fan, I don't know, that was
Mm-hmm.
following her around, and she got off an airport and saw the same person, a reporter, I think, I don't know, but she saw
Uh-huh.
the same person, and then she just like lashed out and started punching her and like pulling her hair and stuff at the airport, and it was really funny. I mean, I
That's
feel really bad
crazy.
for her, but also I heard she's racist, so
Oh, you're like, whatever.
I don't feel as bad anymore.
That's funny. The paparazzi thing. Cause I was thinking, I saw something. I know recently. This is about BTS. Have been doing like
I'm
pre-recordings for
signing
stuff.
off.
Okay. But like, pre-recordings for shows, and that's secret. That's not a publicly announced event, a schedule or whatever.
Mm.
But some paparazzi people will still show up and record them leaving the building or whatever. And then the BTS members will see the paparazzi and they still bow to them. They still greet them, even though they know the paparazzi's not supposed to be there. Like they
Mm-hmm.
illegally obtained their information on their whereabouts. But like American celebrities, they would flip off the paparazzi and it wouldn't be a big
Yeah.
deal. Or punch
Yeah.
them like Bjork did. And that would be bad, but it wouldn't be like crazy. If BTS were to give a bad look to those paparazzi, people would view BTS as being rude or whatever, even if the paparazzi wasn't supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that also is like a cultural thing too, and that's
Yeah.
crazy because they're
Yeah.
not supposed to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I'm just thinking about this is now coming like we're straying away from like
We're straight,
parasocial
yeah.
relationships,
Now we're just
but
talking about
like
K-pop.
now that we're on like the differences between celebrities, just like the pride you can have on like yourself. And I'm thinking of one specific
Tell me,
example,
tell me.
like a pride in your body, because there's this idol and her name I don't remember her name. She's from Very Good. She has a really like a nice body figure because she's
Mhm.
like the hourglass, like
Mhm.
really nice, wide hips and stuff.
Mhm.
Like, and she was on a show with a Lovelyz member that is like also really really
Wait,
pretty.
wait, 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 wait. Wait, I know
And
what you're talking
so
about.
the Very Good member, I mean this is bad because she kind of insulted like the Lovelyz member's body, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, but then like she got so much hate for it, and then she had to like apologize publicly to the other idol and be
Yeah.
like, oh like oh I didn't mean it that way, like blah blah blah. A
Cause
lot of
she,
people thought her apology was sarcastic though,
yeah,
but
like the
it
Very
was
Good member called the Lovely's member, or she's called her like a chopstick or something, or she's just
yeah
said like, oh, you're really skinny, like that,
yeah
but in like a low key mocking way. But it wasn't malicious. I've seen the video. It doesn't.
mm-hmm,
Her
mm-hmm,
tone wasn't malicious, but it was just. I mean, they were on like a variety show. That's like
mm-hmm.
That's what you do, banter. Yeah, but you know, sometimes today I was at Target, going back to parasocial relationships and just buying merch. I saw this one BTS album, like a special album. I was like, oh, I've never seen this. Should I buy it? And I texted our group chat. I was like, are there photo cards in this? And then I looked it up and no, there weren't. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah. Also, yeah, just photo cards are funny. Because, like, sometimes people just buy them hoping to get this photo card. And if you don't, there's also a lot of, like, trading or photo card trading that goes on. And also, like, the prices that certain photo cards go for. Like, I remember I don't know about, like, other groups, but for Luna, especially because you only get, like, one per album. Yeah. I remember seeing photo cards going for, like, $100.
What?
And
wait,
like,
which one? Tell me.
That?
Wait, which member?
It was they were for Cherry Lip and Jinsol for Max and Match, because
really?
Those albums, I guess, were super limited or something, okay. And everyone was trying to find them. Are you just sad that they're not any photo cards you have?
Yeah, but like I don't have that album.
But yeah, they were like really expensive, because the album itself was also selling for like really expensive, and everyone just wanted the photo cards. I don't know, like
I just think
that's just a lot of money for a photo card. Like I understand, because like I also want photo cards, but I don't think I would ever pay that much money for a photo card.
Yeah.
Because also you can just make your own.
Yeah. Yeah, if you really just want the picture, you can just print it out yourself. It's not that hard. Just buy the photo paper. But I think it's funny how this tiny photo of some random singer could bring so much joy when you pull it from an album, and especially when it's like your favorite member. That's interesting. And then the dopamine fades after like 10 seconds.
Yeah. No, yeah, like after buying my albums, then I'm like,
well,
like they're literally in my closet in a backpack right now.
In a backpack?
Because I have nowhere to put them. Yeah, well, I'm not going to leave them like not in a bag, because they're going to get dusty.
Mine are like stacked on the floor of my closet. I'm going to put them on my shelves.
I want to sell mine. But then I like feel bad selling them because I still want them. Yeah, but like I don't use them.
Just keep, as long as you want it, you just keep it, because you might regret it, and like what if you rebuy it? That'll be worse.
Yeah.
Anyways, so let's wrap it up. Yeah. Parasocial relationships, they're very interesting, very common now. I don't know what to say. I mean, I feel like it's good.
It would benefit everyone.
Yeah, it would.
To know if they're like, to know what relationship they have, and if it's parasocial, so you can keep yourself like in check at a reasonable distance.
Yeah, because I feel like
so you're not like crazy.
It's not bad to be a fan of something, and I guess we're biased to say that because we are fans, but there definitely is a threshold. There's a line to where it becomes unhealthy. I'm hesitant to say that, but if an idol or a celebrity does something bad and you're gonna be very emotionally distraught and hurt after it, then that's not healthy for you. Like, you're putting yourself in this like danger zone to, you know, you're putting yourself at risk, and you don't need to do that.
Yeah, but also like we understand that it's kind of like
you can't help
inevitable, sort of.
Yeah,
because even though like we could recognize that we're in it, it's hard to just stop.
Yeah, or even to slowly pull back. It's kind of hard because it's like, well, what does slowly pulling back look like? Does that mean like I don't even know what would you even do?
Yeah.
Here's our thing about having criticisms but no solutions. Because like, do you just replace?
Precisely.
Do you replace that relationship, or do you just get rid of it without a replacement? What does that look like?
Yeah, but I think we can all agree that capitalism is at fault. And with that, we will end the episode.
And all I gotta say is, I don't know the solution, but the Jin photo card in my photo case keeps making me happy, and that's all I know.
Chipotle makes me happy.
You've mentioned Chipotle twice. You're giving them free sponsorship. Good. Or free promo.
Hey, Chipotle, sponsor us.
Okay, and on that note...
We have a lot of people listening here.
Yeah. And on that note, here's our music recommendations for this week that I did not think about prior to saying that statement. Oh.
Well, I will give my music recommendation. It is... No, I shouldn't. You go first.
Why? Okay. I'm going to recommend a song that was released today. Alien by Soohyun from Akmu. It's so good. She's like the Akmu duo. It's her and her brother, and they make really like acoustic-y, lighthearted music most of the time. But she did a solo song, and it's like Dua Lipa, but a little softer. Like the song Alien, it sounds like silk, but glittery silk. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a little retro, but her voice is really soft. It's really good.
So, my recommendation this week is Half the World Away by an artist named Aurora. Yep, she's Icelandic, and she sings.
That's it.
It's a really good song. It's a slow song, so it's not like a party song or anything. It's like one of those songs that you listen to when you're trying to cry, or like it's night and then you're like, oh, let me chill for a bit.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, you know where to find our podcast at this point, hopefully.
Yeah.
Spotify, YouTube, or iTunes. I don't know why we keep mentioning YouTube. No one listens to our thing on YouTube.
But if you
I see
want
the views.
Maybe
if you want
for
to,
the listeners who don't have iTunes or Spotify.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why it's there. That's why we have it. But, no one really listens to it. But I'll still keep putting it up.
Yes.
But yes, we post every Mondays at 11 p.m. We post every other Wednesdays at 11 p.m.
And if you would like to follow us on social media, you can do so at existingpodcast on Instagram.
Yes.
And that's about it.
That's about it. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.